Welcome back, Sports Card Connection again. Here we are with installment number 2, 1968 Topps Baseball. Signed cards. I believe I have 377 or so of the 565 players and managers in the set. As I said before, only going for one signature per player. And here we go. Started off with French-Canadian Claude Raymond of the Braves. Of course, he was the first Canadian to play for the Montreal Expos the next year, and then later became a longtime announcer for them. Got back only recently, Ted Savage. Never could get him. I had trouble with him, but here he is with the Cubs. Hall of Famer Willie Stargell. That was obtained at a show. It's a very nice signer. Another great Pirates player of that time, fireballing pitcher Bob Veal. He's signing right now. I would get him if you want him. He's usually adds some extra notes. He did with me, 1971 World Champion. He sent my index card back. And he really was a great, great pitcher of the 60s. The World Champion 68 Tigers. We have their other rookie card, double signed, Tom Matchick and Darrell Patterson. Johnny Briggs of the Phillies. This one is tough to see. Try to get a little more out. It looks like his pin skipped. Nevertheless, there we go. I got Johnny Briggs. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. A 68 Willie Crawford with that powder blue Dodger home uniform. I don't think Willie Crawford was the easiest autograph. So if you're looking to get an autographed card of him, there's a, do the screenshot. Sammy Ellis came over from the Reds to the Angels. Jerry Grody, he's still signing. Mets catcher of the 60s, their 69 world champion starting catcher. Come on. It's going to fuss with me. See if we can get it to go. That made it worse. Let's come all the way in. That wakes it up. Really want the autographs to show because it can really help collectors to see another version. If they have a signed card or are looking at a signed card to buy, this is just not... It woke up. It's a beautiful high number, Jerry Grody. There he is. Dennis Higgins only came back a couple of weeks ago. Relief pitcher, White Sox, Senators, Indians. Dalton Jones, utility guy extraordinaire, first, second, third, outfield, DH, whatever you need. Take back DH. He didn't make it that far. Played through 72. DH started in 73. Red Sox and Tigers, finished with the Rangers. Slugging outfielder of the 50s, Jim Lemon. His year he managed the Senators, with whom he had starred. Well, but that team was now the Twins, having moved. This is the expansion Senators, now the Texas Rangers. Jerry McNertney, White Sox catcher. One of the first cards I ever had. Claude Osteen, great starting pitcher. He's still signing, if we can get him to cooperate. Apparently not. Part of the giant Dodgers Senators big trade, which basically was Frank Howard and Ken McMullen for Claude Osteen. But there was a bunch of other players involved. But the catalyst of the trade, the Dodgers wanted another starting pitcher. The Senators wanted power, and they needed a better hitting third baseman. So they sent John Kennedy along with Osteen to the Dodgers. And they got Frank Howard, Phil Ortega, Pete Rickert, Ken McMullen, Dick Nen, and Nick Wilhite. And then Doug Camilli had also gone from the Dodgers to the Senators after 1964. So they really had a lot going together with each other. In fact, speaking of that trade, there's another guy that was in it, Pete Rickert. Here he is, having moved on from the Senators to the Orioles. That shot of him is with the Senators. Just recently passed away. Great signer, Dick Schofield. His son, Dick Jr., Angels and Mets. His grandson, Jason Worth, slugging outfielder of the 2000s. Dick Sr., and he started sometimes mostly known as a utility man, but hit .333, I believe it was, for the 1960 world champion Pirates. That picture is actually with the Dodgers from the year before. So he'd come back to the Cardinals for a second time around with them. Pirates starting pitcher Steve Blass later became an announcer for him after his arm just mysteriously quit on him. He had trouble throwing the ball to home and retired. Cuban catcher Paul Casanova. A high number card with the Senators. The best Yankees pitcher to never play on a world champion, Mel Stottlemyre. He was a rookie in '64 when they lost the World Series and they never made it back. He retired after '75 and they made it back in '76, but injuries ended his career. One of the all-time Yankee great pitchers, of course, later became pitching coach for Joe Torre when he was managing the Yankee World Champions. Here's Pete Ward. He was a rookie all-star in 1963. Third baseman, White Sox and Yankees. Had rather a short career and then went into management in the minors. Rookie all-star from the year before, Dick Dietz of the Giants. Finished up with the Braves in '73. Twins rookie card, George Mitterwald and Rick Rennick. From '68, Rennick, a longtime coach after his playing days. Jerry Arrigo, I believe he signs for $1, something like that. There he is with the Reds. Give me a little focus trouble again. There we go, I think. Len Gabrielson, one of my favorite players. There he is he bounced around Braves, Cubs, Giants, Angels, Dodgers. His dad played in the 30s and is on a Zenit card, at least one, when he was in the Pacific Coast League. Nelson Briles, one of the Cardinals' starting pitcher of their '67 and '68 back-to-back pennant winners. Great Mike Cuellar, who really blossomed when Houston traded him to the Orioles in '69, and suddenly he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. Guy with made up his own nickname, Super Jew, Mike Epstein. Power hitter, but he kind of faded and was gone after 1974. But here he is with the Senators, came up with the Orioles. Chuck Hartenstein had a strange career. He's up 67 through 1970, then he's back in the minors for 6 straight years, and then in '77, when the Blue Jays became a club, here he comes. He's back from the Pacific Coast League, makes the Blue Jays roster, and on a National Game of the Week, he got a line drive off his knee, and that ended his career. I remember him walking off the field, hobbling, and waved his cap to the crowd. And then he became a pitching coach. Have a few minor league cards of him coaching. Dick Hall came up as like a third baseman outfielder with the Pirates, ended up being a long time relief pitcher, mostly with the Orioles. Another strange deal with Topps. He's missing a few years. There's no 65 or 66 Dick Hall, and there's no 69 Dick Hall. But he's there the whole time. Go figure. Here he is in 68 with the Phillies. Chuck Hiller. When you're the first guy to do something, nobody can top it. And he was the first National Leaguer to hit a grand slam in the World Series. 1962 for the Giants. Here he is with the Pirates, but that photo's with the Mets. This is his last year as a player. Here's one of the suspect cards. Mac Jones. A longtime TTM collector said if your Mac Jones is vertical and has a date on it, it was signed by his father. I don't know. That's what he said. So there we go. Picture with the Braves, card with the Reds. Sonny Jackson, 66 rookie All-Star with the Astros. Very speedy player. Then spent the rest of his career with the Braves from 68 to 74. Never could get Dave May, but I got Dave Leonard. I did try May, never came back. Father of Derek. Dennis Menke, traded by the Braves to the Astros, thus the airbrushed hat. Jim Pagliarone. On two cards with the Athletics, both have picture with the Pirates. 68 and 69. Also in 69, he would be on the Seattle Pilots. He would go to them. Dave Ricketts is tough. It took me 3 shots. I finally got him when he was a bullpen coach for the Cardinals, and it took a year. So he will sign, at least then. But he was difficult. Frank Castro is one of the guys with little signature. That doesn't bother me. Any way the guys want to sign, that's their business. Another good signer to this day, Diego Segui. If you're going to airbrush the Athletics, the green does look better than the black, though it's a beautiful home shot. We should have the KC on there. Diego led the American League in earned run average, 1970. His son David, longtime first baseman. I got David last year. Here's Ed Stroud. Love this card. Stroud had a strange nickname, the Creeper. No, I don't know why. He could run. Ray Washburn, another starter for the Cardinals. Their pennant-winning years here. The Red Sox rookie card, we got both Bill Rohr and George Spriggs. Spriggs, one of the last guys to keep playing with no batting helmet. Check out the 1971 Topps. It's an action shot with the Royals. It's his last card. You'll notice he's not wearing a batting helmet. Hall of Famer. And still an excellent signer, Bill Mazeroski. And things flipped out on us again. Yeah, I had a card with a big whatever that is on the back, number 8 or something, but I didn't care. This was to get signed. There you go. I think he charges $10 now. When I got him, he didn't charge. Jim Nash, Athletics. You can YouTube a game between the Athletics and the Red Sox in Boston, 1969. And Nash started that game for the Athletics as they kind of pounded the Red Sox. So you can watch the whole game. It was great to see. Here's Ruben Amaro with the Yankees. Light hitting but great fielding shortstop. And his son, Ruben Jr., played for the Angels and became a general manager with the Phillies. Great screwball artist, Jim Brewer. Drysdale and Koufax and Claude Osteen got in trouble. He and Peronoski is who they went and got out of the bullpen. Brewer was a great relief pitcher for 16 years or so. Here's the other white letter Senators, like I referred to in the last video. Casey Cox, So if you see the yellow version, that's the Milton Bradley. It's not a variation of the regular Topps. It's their cards they printed up for the Milton Bradley Win-A-Card game. Jimmy Price, Tigers backup catcher on their world champion team to Bill Freehand. Later became an announcer. Mike Ryan, light hitting catcher, Red Sox and Phillies. It's the first year he'd come to the Phillies. Here's a great underrated player, Reggie Smith. As you can see, he was a rookie all-star in '67. Played all the way up through 1984, the last 2 years in Japan. Of course, he'd go on to the Cardinals, Dodgers, and Giants, and then the Yomiuri Giants in Japan. Jeff Torborg, another great catcher. Light hitting, but a great catcher. And I believe he caught Sandy Koufax's perfect game in 1965. Here we have Dooley Womack, Yankees pitcher. Very fancy autograph. I think he still signs. I'm not sure. And I haven't seen anybody get him back recently. But he was a very quick signer for me. Lee Elia. 2 cards on the Cubs, both pictures on the White Sox. 68 and 69. Basically a backup infielder. Dick Green, the Athletics star second baseman, just a great second baseman. You can see in the background another Athletics player with the full green batting helmet, not this abomination that Topps painted on his hat. Here we have Giants catcher Jack Hyatt. Hyatt was with the Angels twice, the Astros, the Cubs, the Giants. He could play all around. He could play some third, some first, but he mostly caught. That's doing better. Jay Johnstone, many teams, of course, known as one of the big clowns in baseball, always up to pulling some stunt, but he could hit. Johnstone could really hit. Denny LeMaster, picture with the Braves. It's one of those quick signatures. It's a lot of lines. Ken McMullen, the third baseman. Dodgers, Senators, Angels, Dodgers again. Athletics and Brewers, played through 1977. My all-time favorite card, which I did show before, but you can't see it too many times. The beautiful powder blue, Nate Oliver. Great guy. Good learning leads to good living. Classic utility guy. Got his first hit in the majors off Bob Gibson. Said he was scared to death Gibson would kill him. It's a funny interview. Denny Rybant, who is out of focus. He was only with the '68 Tigers half a year. They traded him to the White Sox, I believe for Don McMahon, so he missed out on the world champion team. That picture's with the Pirates. Now the Hall of Famer, the great Red Schoendienst, who managed the '67 and '68 pennant-winning Cardinals and, of course, played most of his career with them. Bill Stoneman, author of 2 no-hitters, both when he was with the Expos and then later on general manager of the Angels. Here's Gary Wagner. That's old Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. White Sox rookie card. Now Mickey Aberbonnel, he never played in the majors. So he was never in the autograph address book. I had to wait till the internet came along to find him. Got him right away. And Cisco Carlos, who's on 3 cards. He was kind of the phenom, super young pitcher that just didn't last. Don't know what happened. Sometimes it's injuries. Mike Andrews, Red Sox second baseman. Come on. And his brother Rob would later on play with the Giants mainly in the late '70s. Okay, this thing's being obnoxious. Of course, he had a claim to fame in 1973 with the Athletics when, after making an error in the World Series, Charlie Finley, the, how do you say it, eccentric owner of the Athletics, tried to release him and fire him in the middle of the World Series, and the rest of the Athletics stood up and said no, they wouldn't play, so he had to rescind it. Ridiculous. They went on to beat the Mets. Andrews then went and played a year in Japan. Sandy Sr., of course, his two boys, Sandy Jr. and Roberto, longtime major leaguers. Roberto, a Hall of Famer. Come on. I saw in one database that they had nothing for an address now for Sandy. I got him when he was coaching with the Padres. I don't know if it's going to cooperate or not. There we go. Of course, that picture's with the Mets right when he got traded to the White Sox. His brother Rafael, I have a Mexican League card of. Also played in the minors. Here's Clete Boyer, one of the three Boyer brothers, along with Ken and Cloyd. And that's Clete we referred to in the last video. A trade from the Yankees for Bill Robinson. Worked out not better for the Braves. And Clete Boyer ended up finishing his career in Japan. And he was a player coach right at the end. Here's Ty Klein, veteran outfielder that bounced around with a whole lot of teams. Dave Duncan later became so well known as a pitching coach, especially when under Tony La Russa as manager. Here's catching for the Athletics. And another of the black hat. But here we have, if you look on the bill, there's the reflection of the KC. I mean, who do they think they were fooling? So, Jim Gosker, outfielder that bounced around, but yeah. There he is with the Athletics. Longtime relief pitcher Bill Henry. He would actually pitch a little bit in '69, and that was the end of his career. He retired. As you see, he'd been going quite a while. Braves, Cubs, Reds, Giants. Would also do a little bit with the Astros. Here's Darren Johnson. His 1 year with the Braves. He'd come over from Cincinnati, go to the Phillies the next year and would really revive his career. Ended up playing through the mid-'70s. He led the National League in RBIs in 1965. He'd been a former Yankee prospect, but they traded him off. Used him for trade bait with the Athletics. Here's Hal Lanier. His dad, Max, of course, a star pitcher with the Giants, Cardinals, mainly the Cardinals in the late 40s, early 50s. He was a shortstop, Giants and Yankees. Later managed the Astros. The great Sam McDowell, one of the fastest pitchers in baseball, thus the nickname Sudden Sam. Fantastic pitcher. Here we have Don Notabart of the Reds. He threw a no-hitter when he was with the Colt 45s. Now the Astros. Phil Regan, excellent relief pitcher, nicknamed the Vulture by Sandy Koufax, I believe, for picking up wins from when somebody else had started the game. Later on, Regan became a coach, and he did manage the Orioles 1 year. Here's utility man Bob Savran, Orioles and Senators. Second base and outfield mostly. Jerry Stevenson, the Red Sox. His dad had pitched, I believe, in the 30s. Joe Verbanek. Okay. Verbanek is on 4 Topps cards. They are all with the Yankees, and they all feature pictures of him on the Phillies for whom he is on 0 Topps cards. Yeah. 68 White Sox rookies, Buddy Bradford and Bill Voss. Two guys I really liked. Voss hit the first grand slam at Anaheim Stadium by an Angels player. Buddy Bradford, he could really run. His average usually was pretty low, and that's what held him back somewhat. The Alou brothers were my favorite players, especially Matty, but I do have Felipe. I never got Matty, and I'm not going to send a card to the Dominican to try and get Jesus. I'll try to get him if there's an event here or something. I have only gotten one card ever back from the Dominican. It was Julian Javier, who's in here. Felipe does not want to focus. Maybe he will now. Voila. But I got Felipe when he was coaching for the Expos. He had the most power of the three Alou brothers. Here's Ron Brand, catcher who could also play some infield. Pirates, Astros, Expos, and gave Walt No Neck Williams his nickname. Here's Joe Coleman. Later on will be a 20-game winner. And his dad had pitched in the 50s, Joe Coleman Sr. Hall of Famer Leo DeRocher. A lot of people in baseball did not like him. There's some stories about him that are not so hot. But he finally made it in on his managerial career. And he was a good signer. Julio Gauthier. He probably should have been on at least one or two more cards. Should have been the 69 set. He later became a school teacher in Puerto Rico. There he is with the Astros. Picture taken at Shea Stadium. Yep. Ron Herbel, Giants pitcher. Sometimes you will see him with glasses, sometimes not. Kind of a light ballpoint signature down there. Here we go with Ken Johnson. Got the Braves. Tony La Russa. And yes, that's an Athletics uniform. It's not the green and gold because the picture is even older than that. That's when they had the navy blue and red. That's like pictures like 1962 spring training or something. Or 63 spring training before they switched to the green and gold. His 1964 card, also with the Athletics, is a newer picture than this one, 4 years later. That's just laziness, Topps. Come on. The first 68 signed card I got was Denny McLain. I wasn't going to try this, but he had gone to prison, and I thought I'd send him an encouraging letter. Instead, he sent it back. And here's what he did. Thank you, Denny McLain. And I said, well, maybe I should get more. Of course, he went 31-6 in 1968, won the Cy Young Award, and the Tigers won the World Series. And nobody's won 30 games since. Here's Rich Nye. Dr. Rich Nye became a vet after baseball. Real bonus baby. This guy was going to set the world on fire. Rick Reichart. He had some good seasons, but never lived up to the hype. Of course, sometimes it's hard to. And then mysteriously in 72 and 73, his last couple, he's not on a card. Topps doesn't print them. 1971's his last card. Don't know why. Another one of those mysteries. Jimmy Schaefer, backup catcher for a lot of teams. Minor league manager later. Picture with the Mets, card with the Reds. That's his last card. We have John Stevenson. Another guy whose Topps career is very strange. 69 and 70, he's missing. 71, he has a card with the Angels. Picture with the Giants, but then he's missing in 72 and 3. So, I don't know. Topps. Zoilo Versalles, the former MVP, made sure you got your money's worth. Best wishes, Jeff. Zoilo Versalles. His 1 year with the Dodgers. And our last card for this session, the Cardinals rookie card, which immediately goes out of focus. Hal Gilson and Mike Torres. So there we go. We'll be back with another one soon. We have a lot more cards to see. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you appreciate it. And after our last one, we'll be announcing a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Thanks a lot. Bye.